Imagine this. You're a busy realtor, you're driving around showing houses, or maybe you're just grabbing dinner with your family, and a potential buyer calls your office. Normally, that could mean a mislead, lost money. But check this out. You have an AI voice agent ready to handle that call, automatically picks it up instantly, talking to the buyer, figuring out exactly what they want. Whether they give detailed responses, just quick one word answers, or even if they are unsure and chatty. It immediately recommends perfect homes based on their preferences in real time, books an appointment right into your calendar, and sends an SMS or WhatsApp confirmation, all without you lifting a finger. This isn't some hypothetical tool. This is real, fully built, automated system that I'm sharing completely free. Don't believe me? Why don't we see a demo?
Thank you for calling Joy and Grace Realty. How may I help you today?
Hi, I'm looking for a single family.
May I know your name?
My name is Jerry.
Great to meet you, Jerry. What's a good phone number to reach you at so I can follow up?
Sure, it's 3.
Thank you, Jerry. Just to confirm, is that
Yeah, that is correct. Yes.
perfect? Are you looking to buy or rent?
I'm looking to buy.
Okay, great. And where are you hoping to find this property?
In Chicago.
Thanks. How much space are you looking for in square feet?
3,000 square feet.
Got it. Do you have a budget in mind for this purchase?
Around 300,000.
Perfect. How many bedrooms are you hoping for and how many bathrooms?
3 beds and 2 bathrooms.
Thank you, Jerry. This is great. Now, what are some features that the property absolutely must have? And what are some things that would be nice to have but aren't essential?
Sure. I have 2 young kids, so definitely grade schools is a must, and a big backyard would be a bonus.
All right, Jerry, I think I have a really good understanding of what you're looking for. Just one last quick review. You're looking to buy a single-family home in Chicago, around 3,000 square feet, with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. You absolutely need access to a grade school and would love a big backyard. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds correct. Yes.
I found a couple of exciting properties for you, Jerry. First, there's a beautiful single-family home located in the heart of Bridgeport. It's listed at $265,212 and has 4 spacious bedrooms and 2 well-appointed bathrooms with over 3,161 square feet. It features a chef's kitchen with granite countertops, a cozy private patio, and it's close to top-rated schools. It blends comfort, style, and convenience. A fantastic option. Would you like to schedule a showing for this property?
Yeah, sounds great. How about Tuesday at 9 a.m.?
It looks like the earliest available time on Tuesday is 9 a.m. Would you like to go with that time?
Yeah, let's do it. Yep.
Your appointment has been scheduled for Tuesday at 9 a.m. to view the beautiful single-family home in Bridgeport. If you have any questions or need further assistance before then, feel free to reach out. Happy house hunting, Jerry. So there you have it. The agent picked up on multiple preferences in a single response, dealt with vague input, inferred missing info, and still managed to recommend properties and offer to schedule a showing. All in real time. No human in the loop. This isn't a scripted chatbot waiting for a perfect input. This is fully autonomous voice agent, smart enough to roll with the chaos of real conversations. And the best part is you can completely customize this AI assistant to your exact liking. Want a different voice? No problem. Want to expand the user preferences it collects, or maybe add specific messaging unique to your real estate practice? Absolutely doable. And here is something I really want to emphasize from what you just saw. This isn't just some fancy appointment scheduler. Notice how carefully the AI assistant handpicked listings tailored exactly to what the buyer wanted.
not just some random homes from a generic database. It genuinely understands user preferences and matches properties accordingly. And remember this, entire flow runs 24/7. Whether you're asleep, showing a house, or stuck in traffic, your agent is picking up the call, understanding buyer needs, and moving the deal forward. This is where real estate meets automation, and the results are instant, intelligent, and always on. If you want a voice assistant like this for your business or something completely custom, we can help. Whether it's handling inbound calls, following up with leads, or automating something totally unique, we will help you figure it out. Book a free consultation call with us. Link is right here on the screen and also in the description below. Now back to building this awesome assistant. In this video, I'll promise you one thing. I'm not going to hold back on anything. You're going to get it all, the entire fully working code base from top to bottom. I'm going to walk you through everything I learned along the way. Every tough decision, every mistake, and every smart fix. Specifically, you'll learn the full architecture behind this AI assistant. Exactly how everything fits together. The tech stack I chose, every single tool, and why I picked them. Why I chose a specific large language model and how I integrated it. How to handle tricky prompt engineering scenarios to make the AI conversational and ideal for voice interactions. And look, if you have ever built software before, you know the real truth. Software never stays static. It evolves constantly as you learn from real-world issues. I'll walk you through all the real, messy issues I ran into and how I adapted along the way. Trust me, I'm going to save you a ton of time and frustration while you build something similar. Seriously, I'll share you everything. Feel free to use it, tweak it, share it, and even sell it. And hey, if you actually end up closing a client using this, let me know. I would love to hear about it. Now, when I started this project, I had some key considerations I knew I had to nail from the start. First, for voice interaction, if the AI hesitates, it feels weird. It has to respond almost instantly like human-like. I'll show you exactly how I achieved sub-second response times. Next, it had to feel natural, friendly, and not robotic. Nobody wants to talk to a stiff, automated voice assistant. I spent a ton of time tuning this, and you'll see how. Next, buyers shouldn't feel like they're filling out some boring form over the phone. I need the AI to casually gather preferences in the conversation itself, almost without buyer noticing. Next key consideration is date-time complexities. Trust me, dates and times are surprisingly complicated when dealing with AI. Ask it about next Tuesday and suddenly things can get confusing. I'll share how I solved this reliably without depending on the AI alone. Finally, the property recommendations on filtered properties. Recommendations had to be precise, not just some random listings, but exactly matching the buyer wants. I will show you exactly how I used a smart vector database to achieve this. These were all tricky, nuanced problems, but solving them made this AI feel real and effective. Before we dive into the code, let me show you the bird's eye view of how everything fits together. Here's what happens when a buyer calls in. VAPI handles the incoming phone call. It listens, converts speech to text, and passes the conversation to our Pydantic-based AI agent built using PydanticAI. We use GPT-4o Mini for the LLM. Our agent does the heavy lifting. It understands what the buyer wants, collects preferences smoothly, and instantly queries a vector search database. We use ChromaDB to find the perfect property matches. Once it finds the ideal properties, it uses N8N, a simple but powerful automation tool, to seamlessly book an appointment directly into agent's Google Calendar. And finally, Twilio sends an immediate SMS or WhatsApp message with the appointment details back to the buyer. The entire flow is streamlined, automated, and completely hands-off. Each step and tool you see here was chosen carefully, tested thoroughly, and optimized for simplicity, speed, and ease of use. Now, if you spend some time watching YouTube lately or poking around low-code or no-code communities, you probably heard a lot about N8N. Honestly, N8N is pretty amazing. It makes automating things easy and visual, and it saves you from writing a ton of boilerplate code. So you might be thinking, why didn't I just build the entire agent using n8n? Why did I even bother with Python and specifically PydanticAI? Well, here's a straightforward answer. I needed total absolute control. When you're dealing with something as nuanced as conversational AI, you really need precise control over every little thing the agent does and says. With PydanticAI in Python, I can easily validate, parse, and standardize every single interaction with the LLM. Also remember how I said earlier that scheduling appointments with AI is tricky because large language models are really bad with dates and times. They really don't understand time well at all. With Python and PydanticAI, I can handle all those tricky time calculations myself. I don't have to trust the AI blindly. And here is something else super important. I love keeping all my business logic in one place, one neat code base. That makes it so much easier to develop, track changes, and test everything thoroughly, and especially scale it out later. If this AI agent starts handling hundreds or even thousands of calls daily, scaling Python code is straightforward. With low-code solutions, you're sometimes stuck waiting for the tool to evolve or adapt to your needs. Now, could you build this entire thing completely in n8n? Maybe. You probably even be right to do so for certain use cases. But you've got to understand the trade-offs. With Python, you stay flexible and always slightly ahead because you're not going to wait for someone else's tool to update and evolve. You control your destiny. And when it comes to AI, things change so fast, flexibility really matters. I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions on this n8n versus Python topic. Leave your comments below. Let me talk quickly about why I specifically chose PydanticAI instead of another Python agent framework, like ChromaDB. Honestly, these days, when building AI projects, I pretty much stick to two frameworks, PydanticAI or ChromaDB. Both are awesome in their own way, but here's my personal experience. ChromaDB is great if you're building something complex involving multiple agents talking to each other, especially when there isn't much direct back and forth with the user or user interaction. But when it comes to conversational AI, like talking naturally with a customer over the phone with several turns, ChromaDB, at least in my experience, isn't ideal. It is powerful, sure, but feels a bit overkill and hard to control precisely for simple conversational flows. Now, if you had different experience, please do share them in the comments. I'm genuinely curious. But with PydanticAI, I had exactly what I needed. A simple setup, complete control over every response, and easy integration with a handful of critical tools. Honestly, it's just super easy and clean to implement. For this project, I envision exactly one conversational agent, calling just a few clearly defined tools. PydanticAI was more than enough. But stay tuned, because I'll be diving deeper into ChromaDB for another cool project soon. You definitely don't want to miss that. Alright, let's talk about choosing the actual brain of our agent, the large language model. I went with OpenAI's GPT-4o Mini. But why this particular model? The short and sweet answer, latency. For a voice agent, you absolutely need responses under a second. Anything slower and your caller thinks something has gone wrong, or worse, hangs up. GPT-4o Mini gives me exactly the sub-second response time. But here's another cool tip. If you want to experiment with different models, maybe something cheaper or faster or specialized, you don't have to sign up individually for every LLM provider. Instead, you can use OpenRouter. It's like a middleman for AI models, letting you test a bunch of different providers and models through one convenient API. It is super handy if you like experimenting or need to switch providers later. We'll talk a lot about model choices later when we discuss LLMs and prompting. Now, once I had the conversational side figured out, I needed a fast way to recommend perfect properties instantly to the user. This is where ChromaDB, my chosen vector database, comes into play. What's a vector database? Well, it helps AI search for properties based not just on exact keywords, but on context and meaning. What we call a semantic search. This method is called retrieval augmented generation, and it works beautifully with AI. Why ChromaDB specifically? Honestly, for this quick development, it just gave me exactly what I needed right out of the box. No complicated setup, runs easily locally, super fast searches, perfect for this use case. Could I have used something else like Quadrant or Pinecone? Absolutely, and they would probably work great too. There wasn't a strong technical reason not to. I just went with what I knew would get me up and running quickly. By the way, since property listings are highly structured, you could technically even do vector searches in Postgres itself with its vector extension. It is doable, but probably not as fast as a dedicated vector database. Speed matters here, especially for voice interaction. So ChromaDB was my clear choice. Now you might wonder, if I'm advocating so strongly for Python and PydanticAI, why did I even use n8n at all? Simple. n8n is fantastic for easily connecting to external tools. Specifically, I used n8n for two key integrations: Google Calendar for appointments and Twilio for sending SMS or WhatsApp confirmations. n8n has these integrations built in, which meant I didn't have to waste time handling OAuth tokens, API credentials, and all that boring stuff manually. It made integration super simple. But, and here's the key point, I intentionally kept zero business logic inside n8n. Literally no complicated logic. Just straightforward webhooks requests from Python agent. n8n simply forwards the payload to Google or Twilio, then returns the response back. All my important logic remains neatly in one Python codebase. Right now, I'm using n8n locally on my laptop. If you're curious how I set that up, I actually already have another video on exactly how to do it. I'll link that down below. But I'll be honest, when this project scales, I will remove n8n entirely and handle everything in pure Python code, especially if I need to support multiple calendar systems or more complex authentication scenarios. Currently, when a buyer wants to make an appointment, the agent first checks the realtor's availability on Google Calendar through n8n. If there is an open slot, it schedules the appointment, and n8n uses Twilio to text or WhatsApp the buyer instantly. Finally, let's talk quickly about VAPI. VAPI handles all the voice interactions, text-to-speech and speech-to-text processing. An important reason why I chose VAPI is because VAPI allows us to use a custom LLM that we can run and operate outside of VAPI. This feature is an absolute must for us since our AI agent is handcrafted with PydanticAI. Again, there is no complicated logic or prompts inside VAPI itself. It just forwards everything to our Python agent, gets a response back, and then reads it to the caller. This keeps things neat and organized. Again, all logic in just one place, and it works flawlessly. All right, so at this point, you might be thinking, hey, this sounds awesome, but what do I actually need to run this project myself? Good news. Basically, you can get started with all this almost free, assuming you're signing up fresh for a couple of services, except for OpenAI, because for OpenAI, you need to pay for the API access. Let me quickly walk you through exactly what you need. OpenAI account for the GPT-4o mini model that powers our conversational agent. This is not free. Optionally, OpenRouter, which is totally optional, but I love it for experimenting with different LLMs without signing up for each provider individually. If my memory serves right, you have to provide your credit card for signing up with OpenRouter. VAPI handles all the voice calls, speech-to-text magic. They give you free sign-up credits, plenty enough for testing. Next, you'll be running n8n locally, so it is free to handle calendar and SMS integrations. ChromaDB, the vector database we use for ultra-fast property recommendations. It's open source, free, and easy to set up locally. Property listings for this demo, I generated a dataset of 1,000 realistic Chicago listings using ChatGPT. Totally free and good enough for testing. Obviously, live property data would have costs associated. ngrok. This one is super handy. It basically exposes your local API running on your laptop to the internet, allowing VAPI and Google Calendar to reach your local code easily. And yes, it is also free to get started. Google Calendar for booking and managing appointments, completely free. Twilio for sending out SMS or WhatsApp confirmations to buyers, free with sign-up credits. Enough to thoroughly test your app. Finally, Logfire for easy observability and monitoring of our AI interactions. This really helps when debugging and tracking down issues. That is it. Most of the tools are free if you're signing up for the first time. Now let's talk about something super important, my actual development process. And by the way, this doesn't just apply to AI projects. Honestly, this is my general approach for any software or tech project I build, big or small. First things first, I always start by clearly sketching out the architecture. It doesn't have to be fancy. Sometimes I just scribble it down on Notepad or sketch it quickly using Draw.io. I list all the tools involved, things like VAPI, n8n, Twilio, ChromaDB, everything. And I double check that every feature I imagine is actually doable with these tools. For example, one thing I had to verify early on was, can VAPI actually interact with an external LLM hosted elsewhere, like our Python agent? Once that was confirmed possible, I would confidently move forward. And there is a critical tip I learned over the years. Never assume anything is set in stone. Seriously, software development, especially with new technology, is always changing. You're going to adapt constantly, so embrace it. Change is inevitable and it is okay. Next, and this is key, I always build from the center out. And here's what I mean by that. At first, I don't worry about integrations like VAPI voice calls, calendar scheduling, or SMS confirmation. I start by building the core agent first, the conversational brain. Because let's face it, this agent is one thing that absolutely has to work. If our conversational agent doesn't understand user preferences or cannot recommend properties clearly, nothing else even matters. But once the agent is solid, when I'm confident it is consistently handling user inputs and property recommendations smoothly, only then do I move on to voice. Now, even though voice is the primary use case, I never start development with voice itself. Why? Because let me tell you, testing with actual voice calls repeatedly is exhausting and tedious. You don't want to keep talking to your agent repeatedly yourself again and again while debugging. Instead, I always start testing with simple text-based chat first. I built a simple chat Python script that lets me talk to the agent directly in the terminal. If anything breaks, it's immediately clear and easy to debug. No complicated speech-to-text delays, no confusion. Trust me, this saves hours of headache. Only after I have a rock-solid conversational agent working perfectly in text mode do I then integrate voice with VAPI. And speaking of voice, one of the trickiest parts of voice interaction is latency. For a conversational to feel natural and human-like, your AI responses have to be incredibly fast. Achieving this human-like conversational latency was honestly one of the biggest challenges. Something I'll show you exactly how I solved it in the detailed code walk. Finally, voice and conversational interactions were nailed down. I moved on to integrations like calendar and SMS notifications. The reason I save these for last is simple. These external integrations often change dramatically based on client needs. For example, maybe today one realtor wants to use Google Calendar, but tomorrow someone else prefers Calendly. Maybe one agent wants SMS notifications, but another prefers WhatsApp. These external tools and integrations change frequently, so they are easiest to handle last, once the core agent is already bulletproof. And that's exactly how I approach building this entire real estate voice AI agent. From a high-level architecture sketch through building a rock-solid agent first, testing thoroughly with text, finally adding voice, and then wrapping up neatly with calendar and SMS integrations. All right, This is a logical place to stop this video. In part 2 of this series, we'll dive deep into the agent design, PydanticAI, prompt engineering, vector embedding of listing information, and detailed code walkthroughs of all necessary code. We'll pop open VS Code, explore every important line and function, and I'll show you exactly how each part of this agent works under the hood. If you're a business owner and you liked what you just saw, and you're thinking, can I build something like this for my business? The answer is yes. Whether it's voice automation, lead qualification, or something completely custom, we help companies build and deploy real working AI systems like this. We also offer free consultations to help you explore what's possible and where to start. So if you have got a use case in mind, or even just a problem you're trying to solve, schedule a quick call with us. The link is in the description. Let's build something that actually works in the real world. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.